It was a crisp October morning in New York City, the kind that carried the scent of roasted coffee from corner cafes and the rush of hurried footsteps on sidewalks. The sun peeked between skyscrapers, scattering gold across the streets like a blessing. Linda Parker, a sophomore at Hudson College, tightened the scarf around her neck as she made her way to campus. Her backpack felt heavy, not just with books, but with the pressure of midterms and the endless expectations she carried as the first in her family to attend college. She walked briskly, weaving between people, her headphones muffling the noise of car horns. That was when she noticed something unusual, a faint whimpering sound, barely audible over the city's chaos. She slowed down and turned her head. The sound came from a cluster of bushes lining the edge of the sidewalk near an old bookstore. At first, she thought it might be a stray cat or perhaps a bird tangled in the branches. But as she leaned closer, she froze. There, huddled in the cold, was a small golden retriever puppy. Its fur was dirty, tangled, and damp from the morning dew, but its eyes, large, round, and pleading, shone like liquid amber. The little thing wagged its tail weakly as if asking for help but too tired to move. Linda's heart clenched. "Oh my God. Hey, buddy," she whispered, crouching down. "What are you doing here all alone?" The puppy let out a soft whine and tried to step forward but stumbled. Without thinking, Linda reached into the bush and carefully scooped him up. He was surprisingly light, shivering against her chest. She glanced around, half expecting someone to rush forward claiming the pup. But the sidewalk bustled indifferently. People walked past, eyes glued to their phones, nobody noticing or caring about the tiny creature. Linda hesitated for a moment. She had never owned a pet before. Her parents, back in Albany, had always thought it was too much responsibility. But leaving this puppy behind in the cold? That felt impossible. "All right, buddy," she murmured, pulling her scarf tighter around him to keep him warm. "I guess you're coming with me." Linda carried the puppy all the way to campus. Her classmates gathered around in the quad, instantly distracted from their morning classes. "Where did you get him?" one of them asked. "He was alone in the bushes near 7th Avenue, Linda explained. "I think he's a stray." The puppy, who had been quiet then, suddenly licked her chin, making the group laugh. Linda smiled for the first time in days. She decided to skip her morning lecture and headed straight to the vet. The veterinarian confirmed the puppy was about 3 months old, underweight, but otherwise healthy. He had no collar, no microchip. "Looks like he's yours if you want him," the vet said, kindly. Linda didn't hesitate. "I do." She named him Charlie. It just felt right, simple and warm. From that day forward, Charlie became a part of her life. He followed her around the apartment, wagged his tail whenever she returned from class, and slept curled at the foot of her bed. He turned her small studio into a home, filling the silence with playful barks and the click of his paws on hardwood floors. Walking him through Central Park became her daily ritual. Strangers often stopped to pet him, telling her how beautiful he was. Charlie had a way of bringing joy to people, but he was always most attached to Linda. When she studied late into the night, he would rest his chin on her lap, as if to remind her she wasn't alone. The bond between them grew stronger with each passing week. For Linda, Charlie wasn't just a pet, he was family. 6 months later, winter had melted into spring. The city buzzed with energy again, flowers blooming along the park paths, students sprawled on lawns with iced coffees. One Saturday morning, Linda was sitting outside a cafe near her campus, sipping on a latte while Charlie lay at her feet, his golden fur shining in the sunlight. She was reading through her notes when a voice startled her. "Excuse me, is that my dog?" Linda looked up. Standing a few feet away was a young woman about her age, maybe a year older. She had long auburn hair tied back in a loose braid and wore a denim jacket. Her eyes were wide, glistening with something between hope and disbelief. I'm sorry," Linda asked, tightening the hold on her dog's leash. The woman stepped closer, her hands trembling. That's Max, my golden retriever. He went missing 6 months ago. I put up posters everywhere. I can't believe this. That's him." Linda's stomach dropped. "You're saying Charlie is your dog?" The woman nodded quickly, kneeling down. "Max! Oh my God, it's really you!" Charlie lifted his head, ears perking up. For a moment, he seemed to recognize her scent, his tail wagging hesitantly. He sniffed her hands, then licked them. The woman's eyes filled with tears. "I thought you lost me forever," she whispered, hugging him. Linda's heart twisted. She imagined Charlie as abandoned, forgotten, but here was someone claiming to be his true owner. The woman introduced herself as Emily Turner, a graduate student who lived a few blocks away. She explained how Max had slipped out of their backyard last fall, right before a thunderstorm. They had searched everywhere, put up flyers, even checked shelters, but he never turned up. Linda listened silently, her chest heavy. "Emily," she said carefully, "Charlie, Max, he was shivering in the bushes that morning. He had no collar, no microchip. I took care of him. I love him." Her voice broke slightly. Emily's gaze softened. "I can see that. He looks so healthy, so happy. You've taken wonderful care of him." She reached for Charlie again, and this time he leaned against Linda's leg, as if torn between two worlds. The cafe noise seemed to fade into silence. Linda's throat tightened. She couldn't imagine her life without Charlie. Coming home to an empty apartment, no wagging tail, no soft paws tapping behind her. But she also knew Emily's pain was real. To lose a beloved pet and then find him again? Who is she to deny that? "I don't want to take him from you," Emily said suddenly, her voice trembling. "But he's been part of my life since he was born. I thought I lost him forever. This is so hard." Linda swallowed, blinking back tears. "I don't want to let him go either." They sat in silence for a long moment, both women with their hands resting on the golden retriever, who looked up at them with trusting eyes, tail thumping softly against the floor. Finally, Emily stood up. She took a deep breath, her expression shifting from grief to something steadier. "You know what?" she said quietly. "Charlie, Max, he's happy with you. I can see it in the way he looks at you. I lost him once, and maybe it was for a reason. Maybe he was meant to find you." Linda's eyes widened. Are you sure?" Emily nodded, wiping her eyes with the back of her sleeve. "Yes. Consider him a gift. From me to you. Just promise me you'll love him the way I did." Linda's throat ached as she whispered, "I already do." The two women hugged, a strange but genuine bond forming between them. Charlie wagged his tail furiously, as if blessing their decision. As Emily walked away, she turned back once and smiled through her tears. "Take care of him, Linda. He's a special one." Linda knelt down, hugging Charlie tightly. "Looks like you're staying with me, buddy," she whispered into his fur. Charlie barked softly, as if he understood. Life went on, and with each passing season, Charlie grew from a fragile puppy into a strong, graceful dog. He remained by her side through exams, heartbreaks, and new beginnings. He was her anchor, her joy, her best friend. Sometimes Linda would think back to that morning, the bushes on 7th Avenue, the chance encounter, and the tearful goodbye from Emily. Life had given her Charlie not once, but twice, and every time he curled up beside her, tail wagging in his sleep, she knew one thing for certain. Love, when shared, never truly gets divided. It only grows. And in the heart of New York, a girl and her golden retriever carried on, bound by a story of loss, kindness, and the gift of friendship that would last a lifetime.